This is Brett with NEO News Today, and we have Anatoly, co-founder of NEO SPCC. So you just had your presentation on NEO FS. How did that go?
Yeah, was slightly nervous, and I think that it was, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the crowd seemed to respond pretty well. You got through it, did a good job. I think you've done a sweet job explaining some of the different approaches you're using with the inner rings and the outer rings.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain our main approach, our vision of the scalability of the storage system, because we try to keep the scalability and possibility of fast retrieving and storing data in our system. And we have some novel approach, for example, for data placement, for zero-knowledge data audit, and so on.
Yeah, so I think the data retrieval is something that's quite interesting. There's been a lot of people requesting information about whether, say for example, a website front end could be stored, because one of the problems we have in the ecosystem right now is that a lot of DApps will use a centralized front end. You know, they run their own, host their own website, which gives them a level of control that they wouldn't really ideally have. Is that something that could be done?
In our system, the user controls encryption, and the data can be public or private, so it can be encrypted or not encrypted. So if you want to store some websites or something like this, some public information, you can store encrypted information in our storage and retrieve it when you need.
Well, that's pretty exciting news actually, because this is a problem with a lot of DApps, obviously, is that they're not fully decentralized. That's great news. So you talked a little bit about the reward system and how it's going to be using the gas token, which I think has a lot of people excited since it's a new use case for gas. So do you want to talk a little bit about how that will work?
We have a smart contract integrated in our system that keeps incoming gas tokens, and we have a layer of accounting system which allow users to transfer the rewards between host to publisher and other ways, and in-ring control the accounting system. So we do not have own tokens, we work with gas.
Yeah, that's good. I think everyone's happy to hear that. So people probably want to know a little bit about how the pricing will work. You mentioned that with the placement rule, there'll be some different attributes, and I'm assuming the more redundancy you want, the more it will cost. Can you talk a little bit about how these different attributes will affect the pricing?
You control what redundancy you want. So if you want a lot of copies of your data, you need to pay more. But if you need some just stored data with very high availability, you can get price lower than other storage system. So the price will formed from the placement rule that you choose.
So, for example, if you were just wanting to send a file over to someone, so you don't need it to stay on the network for a long time, you could, for example, just have something that's very available but not very redundant, and that would be pretty cost effective.
Yeah.
Cool. So how about, for example, if you want to put data up on the onto the distributed network, but then you want at some point to take it off again? Is that all within your own control?
Could you please repeat? Sorry.
So if you wanted to put data onto the network, but you wanted it to say delete after a certain amount of time, is that all something that you can customize as well?
Yeah, you can remove some data. We have another approach that I do not speak in my speech. Here we have some entity as a storage group. For we organized it by to not work with each object separately. We work with amount of objects for you that will contain in the container. It's a subgraph of the network map. So you can change this storage group, so you can add or remove some data from it, and you can do anything.
Great. So if you are someone that wants to rent out some of your own storage space, how will that all work? Will you just have to say, can you link up to a Dropbox or an Amazon account, or is it just, for example, if you have your own computer with storage space?
Yeah, we will discuss about it later because at this moment we organized a platform for all actions, and when we complete it, we organized protocols. So we will have a CLI layer, some REST API layer, and we create some toolkits for developers, and everyone in the NEO community can realize his own approach for storing data. For example, you can create some additional implementation of pseudo file system, like POSIX-like pseudo file system, or something else. So if you want to create something like Dropbox, you can do it, or community can do it, or we can do it. So we will see when we complete realization of the protocol.
Cool. So you've done a lot of work in NEO SPCC contributing to the NEO Go protocol as well.
Yeah.
How's all that going?
Awesome.
Are there any particular things you're working on? Are you kind of trying to pitch in and just help bring the implementation up to be better, say, parity with NeoPython?
Please repeat, sorry.
So are you trying to help the NEO Go project to get on the same level as NeoPython?
Yeah,
or are you just kind of adapting it so that it can use for you?
We have we realized our core project on NeoGo, on Go, Golang, and we use NeoGo as one element of our proof of concept realization. So if we need some additional options, we just do it and implementing to the NeoGo.
Cool. So if anyone wanted to get involved with you guys, you're not open source. You're open source, but are you taking contributions, or how can people get involved?
Yeah, we plan to open our public GitHub soon, but at the first time we realized our system inside our team, but we plan to open open source code soon.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to catch up with any more of our DevCon coverage, you can do so on our Twitter page, the YouTube, or on neonewstoday.com. Thank you once again, Anatoly.
Thank you.